So, hello there, people, especially the people who've been asking me if I'm gonna make a video or saying that they've missed some of my videos, missed watching my videos or whatever. So I'm making a video, but I'm not sure if you gonna enjoy that because I don't have that sort of urge that I used to have for I don't know, communicating on YouTube, if I was ever communicating, because I was just mainly speaking. Some messages I would reply, but mainly I would just reply comments on my blog. So I guess I was communicating, but not so much on YouTube. Anyway, yeah. So I guess I can talk about how I view life today, and if anything has changed, if people are curious and stuff like that. And I don't have a plan for the video. Maybe I have some small passage I'd like to read out because it's beautiful, because it's not mine, because it's been written by somebody famous, although not all famous people written anything worth quoting. But anyway, um, yeah. So people ask if I'm still in antinatalism. Yeah, I am, because I don't I don't see how you could be a natalist and uh, justify procreation. So I don't see that, and I don't see how it's gonna change unless I get some lobotomized or something, or something my brain chemistry completely malfunctions, and I don't know, I get struck by lightning, and I see some, I don't know, flying spaghetti monster god who explains me the meaning of it all, and how the future harmony is worth the tear of one innocent child, as Dostoevsky puts it in his writing. And if I'm ever gonna, say that, yeah, it's worth torturing a kid for a future harmony, then yeah, you can probably safely say that I've been, you know, tortured into saying that, probably. So I don't see how it's possibly gonna change, but of course you should always leave a room for, you could change your view technically always, but from my today's position, I don't see how. But why I'm not making videos is because I kind of feel that I've said everything about this subject, and I wrote even more on my blog, and I don't uh, feel a kind of nudge uh, to make a video about every new article that's that bashes parents, or somebody got pregnant, didn't love the kid, or how some government is imposing anti-abortion laws or anything, because eh, it's just so usual. It's just stuff that happens every day, and just wasting my time saying, oh, this is so horrible, to every story. I mean, it's just gonna be me saying the same shit, and it's not fun. So yeah, I read that, I look at that, and I just sigh, and then I think to myself, well, this is how it's always been, this is how it's gonna be probably, and it's not gonna change with me, and I'm not gonna change the views of the majority of the people who love playing the Pokemon and all that stuff, because it's completely different level of life, of approaching lives. Um, the majority of people are not interested in that, in any deep thinking, in any rationality, you know, and it's just a fact. I'm not saying that to try and bash people for it. In fact, I start seeing this more as natural thing. not excusing nature here, but I'm explaining that we are just another kind of mammal, basically. And I know that we like to think of ourselves as some sort of a pillar of existence, that we are this rational, intellectual creatures who can grasp reality objectively and follow the reason and logic. But that's just complete crap, because we are 90% of the cases driven by our impulses and our emotions and our subconscious urges, and we use our rationality only to cover those urges and rationalize them, and that's it. That's why a person who wants kids will rationalize why it's good having kids. The person who doesn't want kids will the same way rationalize why it's bad having kids. And in both cases, it will be first and foremost someone's willingness and desire, or unwillingness and the lack of desire to do something. That's the motive. So I don't know, the realization of these things kind of make me a little bit less passionate about subjects in general, and just prompt me to sigh more than get enraged, or I don't know, feel, I don't know, like I'm some sort of warrior for 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 the best morality or anything. Nah, I don't get that feeling when I'm watching somebody do something that I strongly disagree with. I may feel kind of rage and sadness for the thing that's being done, like they are abusing someone, and it may hurt me as well because I sympathize and all, but I don't get all uh, righteous about, oh, that person is so rotten, shouldn't have done this, shouldn't be doing this, because if they do, then they mean this scum of earth. And they probably are scum of the earth, but I also realize that they did not make themselves to be the scum of the earth. They had some events in their life that shaped them to be this way, and that sort of calms down my inner passionate rage or whatever, and I am reminded again that this is how the world is, and it's completely broken system from this point of view of wishful thinking morality that we'd like to have, that we'd like to abide by, and that the world work in in the way of justice, and and responsibility, and you're a master of your own destiny, and things happen for a reason, good things to good people, bad things to bad people. We'd like it to be this way, and from the point of this kind of ideal model, this world is broken on every account. Random things happening to all people, all sorts of things, undeserved things happen. People, don't get what they do deserve, and there's no rhyme or reason. And that's a very uncomfortable realization. And another uncomfortable realization is that there's no one responsible for it. There's no one you can just put the blame on and kind of fight. Like, there's why the conspiracy theory stuff is so tempting. And I was drawn to this kind of explanations when I was probably first year of college. After school, I was like, wow, this really explains it. So this is why the world is broken, because it must be some one group of people somewhere out there who is responsible for all the mess that's happening. So that's why we just need, all we need to do, guys, stick together, neutralize the group of people, or some corporation or whatever, and there'll be heaven on earth, more or less, practically. That was a silly, naive hope and thinking of, a very young, young mind. And when you live more, you read more, you pay attention more, and you read more history, and you see how things have always been like the way they are now, and you read about animals and you see how animals are behaving, and then you connect the dots and you see that we actually blend in pretty well. There's actually there's nothing broken in the way we function. We function just like any other mammal. We're also parasites, we're also selfish, we're also trying to steal, we're trying to just take, rip, eat, consume somebody, fuck somebody over. We go into wars, animals have fights, they rape each other, we rape each other, you know, all the wrong things that are happening, they continuations. We are only inventing new levels of the rotten stuff because we have new levels of intelligence, and that enables us, just as like it enables us for some good things like more empathy to other species, which other species, as far as I know, don't have, or don't have so much. It's usually rats feel sort of empathy to other rats, or monkeys to monkeys, but not monkeys to donkeys, as far as I know from experience. But we have this empathy that might stretch to other species and might even stretch to other members of our own tribes, right? um, but, you know, in the same time, this bigger intelligence that we got, it backfired because it also empowered all of our bad features. It enlarged them and it made them more um, perversive, right? So we went further in that way too. We've done genocides, we've done holocausts, we've done holodomors, we've done all sorts of crimes and experiments and torture for pleasure and all this stuff. Yeah, so when you realize that that's actually the extension of what's taken place in other animals, you realize that this is just the world we live in. There's nobody that's responsible for something that's broken in humanity. There's no particular group of people that can be pinned down and said they are the evil bastards. The rest of us would have been just fine if it weren't for them. And once we fight that one element, it's gonna be all peachy. It's not. Because we're broken, because this world is broken, because animals eat one another, because we eat other animals to survive. At the same time as we post their cute pictures on the internet, and we protest how they get shot at the zoos or they get hunted down while we go and buy a pack of meat for our table because that cow is something fundamentally different than some horse or some giraffe, whatever. So yeah, we live in that. We're hypocrites. We turn a blind eye to something. We try not to think too much about things that are uncomfortable, and that's always been like that. And I don't see it changing. And that's why I don't see a point in sort of coming on YouTube and talking about it to like what to I don't know, gather some likes or some applause and possibly get altogether some dislikes and somebody saying that I'm completely stupid, and then some stalkers and all this stuff that you can get from making YouTube videos. Yeah, so I find some stuff to do besides talking about the depressing nature of our world, although I do feel the need sometimes, and I write about that on my blog once in a while, I guess. This apartment is fucking cold. But I chose the cold apartment because I lacked neighbors from all sides. It's a new house, new building. And I chose that instead of a very warm apartment, but noisy, because I hate noise. And so, yeah, I have a heater, but it's turned off right now. Anyway, switching it off and on. That's a bit about my life for you. You're welcome. A bit of cold. Um, and what else is there to say? So yeah, anyway, you see, these videos are very costly for me because I say some bullshit and then I don't know how to get out of it, and then I have to stop the video somewhere, cut it, and make a different end for that video. But of course, after I upload that video and in a couple of years I look at it and think, Jesus, this is some shit I said, and now I can't get out of it. Because it's already up, and once it's up on the internet, then baby, it's sealed, it's already gone, and you cannot take it away, down from the internet world. Especially if you're as shareable as I am. I'm kidding. Anyway, but it's good that I'm kidding, then I guess I'm still alive and not all my emotions are in frozen. Although a lot of them are already, because I'm freaking tired of responding um, responding with my emotions to the shit that I know rationally has been for centuries and will continue to be until the world is no more, I think. Um, and just try not to respond to it, and to just preserve myself and my well-being. Isn't that the rational choice? I think it is. It's the choice of being in the corner. But you are in that corner where you're gonna run nowhere, so you continue living. How you gonna continue living? You want to continue living depressed all the time? No, I would rather not. So then you suppress something, you just freeze those emotions and say, I'm not gonna think that shit. Just fucking go away. I thought you already. I've just been through that, and fuck you, you miserable thought, you know. Um, because at this point already it's like repeat visitors. So world is shit. So people do shitty, completely atrocious stuff to themselves and to, I mean, to themselves as humanity and to other species, and it just continues, and it's just new victims every day. Every moment claims new victims. So we're gonna sit here and cry about it. I bet somebody just started crying when I reminded them of it. Huh? You crying there? Anyway, just kidding. So no, I choose not to, and I just, yeah, I distract myself. That's what I do. So it's just a video about me or the world or anything. I don't really know, because you see, it's like this is the most I can give you right now, because I don't care to make some videos that are structured, dedicated to some subject, and you know, so just kind of vloggerish about junk and stuff. That's what I can do sometimes, and that's even cost me some additional motivation. So I don't know, gotta motivate me somehow. I'm kidding. Um, yeah, I forgot to say some, yeah, some bullshit. I'm not gonna talk about that because that's too depressing. See, I'm even thinking how to not depress you too much, maybe. But I still want to read this very depressing passage. And that's not from me. Maybe you won't find it that depressing because people are different. It's from Chekhov, and it's about how we manage to live in this world and continue feeling okay most of the time, actually, before we ourselves are in some shit. Okay, so finally I will read you this passage from Chekhov's story called Gooseberries. And I think it's much more eloquent than I could possibly end this video with. So take care, good luck in this cruel world, and try to be as happy as possible if you can, because that's good for you and doesn't harm the world. I guess it depends on the ways that you prefer to be happy in and what it requires. But not gonna go there, and we just gonna pretend that everybody's just happy, being happy, not exploiting everything too much, anything from this world, and just breathing calmly and jumping around and and singing and dancing and whatnot. So anyway, gooseberries and universal happiness and all stuff like that, and how we are wired, and optimism and people and the hypnosis. So anyway, I want to tell you what a change took place in me in those few hours while I was in his house. In the evening, while we were having tea, the cook laid a plateful of gooseberries on the table. They had not been bought, but were his own gooseberries, plucked for the first time since the bushes were planted. Nikolai Ivanitch laughed with joy, and for a minute or two he looked in silence at the gooseberries with tears in his eyes. He could not speak for excitement, then put one into his mouth, glanced at me in triumph like a child at last being given its favorite toy, and said, "How good they are!" He went on eating greedily and saying all the while, "How good they are! Do try one." It was hard and sour, but, as Pushkin said, the illusion which exalts us is dearer to us than 10,000 truths. I saw a happy man, one whose dearest dream had come true, who had attained his goal in life, who had got what he wanted and was pleased with his destiny and with himself. In my idea of human life there is always some alloy of sadness, but now at the sight of a happy man I was filled with something like despair, and at night it grew on me. A bed was made up for me in the room near my brother's, and I could hear him, unable to sleep, going again and again to the plate of gooseberries. I thought, after all, what a lot of contented, happy people there must be. What an overwhelming power that means. I look at this life and see the arrogance and the idleness of the strong, the ignorance and the bestiality of the weak, the horrible poverty everywhere, overcrowding, drunkenness, hypocrisy, falsehood. Meanwhile, in all the houses, all the streets, there is peace. Out of 50,000 people who live in our town, there is not one to kick against it all. Think of the people who go to the market for food. During the day they eat, at night they sleep, talk nonsense, marry, grow old, piously follow their dead to the cemetery. One never sees or hears those who suffer, and all the horror of life goes on somewhere behind the scenes. Everything is quiet, peaceful, and against it all there is only the silent protest of statistics. So many go mad, so many gallants are drunk, so many children die of starvation, and such a state of things is obviously what we want. Apparently a happy man only feels so because the unhappy bear their burden in silence, but for which happiness would be impossible. It is a general hypnosis. Every happy man should have someone with a little hammer at his door to knock and remind him that there are unhappy people, and that however happy he may be, life will sooner or later show its claws, and some misfortune will befall him, illness, poverty, loss, and then no one will see or hear him, just as he now neither sees nor hears others. But there is no man with a hammer, and the happy go on living, just a little fluttered with the petty cares of every day, like an aspen tree in the wind, and everything is all right. Bye.